So I'm talking to a young guy, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, really does. Really respectful young man. And, believe it or not, young, respectful guys are not necessarily in abundance. But he was raised by Christian parents. He's got values, which is good. I think everybody should have values. I think, particularly young men, they need good guidance and good values. But he's also a smart kid. So he's able to look outside and see what's going on. He's got his ear to the ground, so to speak, right? He sees what life is all about. And he's red-pilled. So a young guy, I think he's 23, which is still very young. I think he just recently graduated from college. And he's looking into getting started on his master's degree. So young guy, got a good head on his shoulders, has values, has a good upbringing. Now, I did think he said something about his father might not have been in his life that much growing up. So he is a rare case in that sense. I think he was mostly raised by his mother, but she was a Christian lady and he was in church a lot, which I think matters, which I think makes a difference because it instills values in you, which is something that's lacking in our society. Our young people lack values. They lack guidance. They lack the right type of moral foundation. I think morals is like almost a bad word in today's generation. Anyway, so he asked me what I thought about marriage. And he asked me, I'm young, I've had relationships before, but it seems like these women are just selfish. I'm more of a reserved type of guy, and women want me to put more effort into the relationship. Women want me to try harder, which I translated to mean that women want him to cater to them. Women want him to put his efforts in his life into them. And this is common, right? They see that he is building an empire and they want a piece of that, which is what they're attracted to about him. But instead of helping him build, instead of being a positive force in his life, a supportive force, they're going to be a selfish force. And they're going to say, yes, I want you to build an empire and I want a piece of that because that fulfills my hypergamy. However, I want you to do it for me, right? So he's telling me that this is how these girls are treating him, that he does attract women, he does get into relationships with them, yet in those relationships, they tend to tell him that he's too selfish, which if you translate that through our womanese to normal speak translator machine, right? What that means in womanese is pay more attention to me. So they like that he's ambitious, but the less, attention they give to him, they don't like that, right? So they want him, so what they're really saying is, I want you to take that ambition and put it towards me. And this is what women do. Well, I have another friend that I talk to who says women use men like a horse and a cart, right? So they're in the cart and the man is the horse to fulfill their needs, to fulfill their resources, to fulfill their desires. So him being insulated and quote unquote selfish, which really he's just keeping to himself. He understands that he's not going to invest. I've talked to him in length, so I know all this. He doesn't want to invest himself into a woman that he feels doesn't deserve it. So that's a threat to a young woman. Because these women, they want they want it all. They want the attention, they want the resources, they want the benefits, and they want none of the responsibility. And this is totally wrong. Totally wrong. What does a woman need? Or excuse me, what does a man need from a woman? Love, support, loyalty, okay, as well as in addition to obviously intimacy, sex, okay, conversations. That's a good woman. A good woman does that. Unfortunately, today's women are solipsistic, narcissistic, toxic, okay, damaged, right? So they're still hypergamous. It's just, no, they don't have any upbringing. They don't have no one raised them properly. So of course, they've got no morals. So they're bringing that baggage into the relationship. But I would say, and we often in the red pill community, we often talk about, well, we don't want a woman with high leg count. We don't want a woman who's been around. That's true. That is very true. We don't want that. And that is damaging. And that does harm the young woman, right? It does make her ability to pair bond severely lacking. But what's more than that is that a lot of these women are just selfish. They're just selfish. They really do think the world revolves around them. They really do think that men are supposed to be serving them. They really do believe that men are supposed to worship the ground that they walk on. And how this translates through the filter of hypergamy is, you need to do all this shit for me. I'm the prize. And unfortunately, society and the way things are set up with careers and money, etc., really does reinforce this concept. Because what are guys doing? Why are guys out here working hard for these nice houses and these nice cars and all this money and all this career? Why are they doing that? Well, they're doing it to get a high quality woman. So it really does reinforce that idea that I'm the prize, I'm the female. You're out here doing all this work to get me. All I got to do is sit back and pick. And this taints the woman. This ruins her ability to really be a quality woman, to really be, what she's supposed to be, which is a support, a help to him. We need a companion that's going to support us, that's going to help us in life. It's going to help us achieve, help us get ahead. I wouldn't even use the term get ahead, but just help us survive. We want somebody who's going to go through life with us, not somebody who's just going to be in the kitchen and cook us meals, although that would be nice. If that's how you show your love, we can cook our own meals or whatever, but you help us get through life as a team and as a bonded entity. Okay. So when you're selfish and you think that the guy's just going to work to get you and he's just going to work to keep you around, and you kind of ruin that. Right? So this is kind of the crux of everything I really ever talk about. Every one of my videos, the real crux of the matter is this. Women don't know how to love men. Women don't know how to treat men. Women don't know how to support men. When you're selfish and when you're narcissistic and when you're solipsistic and when you think the world revolves around you and when you think you're the prize, well, you take all that stuff out. You can't have love in that scenario. You can't have loyalty in that scenario. When you're dumping a guy to get a better guy, there's no such thing as love in that scenario. There's no such thing as loyalty in that scenario. That's just not what it is. It can't be that, because you are not allowing for that to happen when you're so selfish that you think you're the prize. Now that's a tough pill to swallow. One of the hardest pills that I've ever had to swallow, as far as the red pill is concerned. I mean, it really is a hard pill, because you have to look at it also like this. How many women are really mature? How many women are really really grown up? Okay. A child is dependent. A child needs needs somebody to take care of it. A child can't look at themselves outside of themselves. A child can't look past what he or she wants at that moment. I want applesauce, and it affects their whole day. It affects their whole mood. I want applesauce, right? Well, what's the difference between a child and an adult? An adult can say, well, I want applesauce, but I might not get applesauce, or I might have to do this to get applesauce, or I might have, we're able to reason in an abstract way, and we're able to maturely look at things. Well, unfortunately, I don't believe that women are this way, because they're emotional fundamentally. Now, I wouldn't say all women, but I would say most women. So, what do I tell my friend? He's like, I want to get married. He's like, I feel that. He's 23, and I felt the same way at 23. I was like, well, because, I think it's in our genes. Of course, the world is so messed up that nowadays people are marrying in their 40s and 50s. And no, man, you marry when you're 20. You marry when you're 22, you're 23. That's when you really marry. You're supposed to marry, because you're young and you need to find love and you need to start a family. Yes, some people could argue and say, oh, you're too young. And you could argue that, to an extent. But I think it's because we don't really teach our children values. We don't really instill. I mean, the school doesn't do it. The teachers don't do it. The classmates certainly don't do it. All they're trying to do is get high and go to rock and roll concerts or whatever the fuck, right? Go to raves, right? Party and have someone buy them alcohol. They're not thinking of becoming better human beings. So really the responsibility lies on the parents, right? If you want your child to be a quality child, you got to instill some values in your child. It's not happening. So telling this guy, I'm like, hey, it's just, it's a crapshoot, man. You got a 50% chance it's going to work. Okay. And I think over the course of your whole life, those chances even go higher. Right? I don't think it stays at 50% for the rest of your life. So, you got, that's a tough decision, man. Like 23, first of all, yes, it's young. We think that it's young, but really, his body's telling him it's time. His body's saying, I want to be with somebody. His body's like, yeah, hey, at least his body's saying, I want to love somebody. And he's talking about marriage, which is serious. He's not saying, I just want to go fuck somebody. I just want to go date somebody and have sex. Well, that's good. You want to love somebody. You want to honor a woman. Well, the question is, can he find an honorable woman? Can he find a woman that can match him? Can he find a woman that can do those things that I talked about? Support, be loyal, help, right? From his perspective, he's a Christian. So the Bible says when God created Adam in the book of Genesis, that he said, it's not good for Adam to be alone. It's not good for man to be alone. I need to find him a helpmeet. God used this word, helpmeet, right? Help and meet. If you put those two words together, it's a helpmeet. What does that mean, helpmeet? It means somebody to help you meet the demands of life, help you meet the problems of life. You need a companion. You need somebody to work things out. You need somebody to talk to. You need somebody to confide in. You need somebody who's going to support you. You need somebody who is going to have your back when nobody else will, because friends come and go. Friends aren't really friends. In this day and age, They're more like acquaintances, or, really just party buddies in today's world, right? They're not, friends is very, very not solid thing, right? Very, very shifty thing. I've had tons and tons of friends in my life, dozens, if not hundreds. And one thing is for sure, they come and they go. One thing is for sure, they do not stick around. And loyalty and having your back, boy, you're lucky if you find one that does. Even in small things, like you'll be lucky if you find someone to even help you move, right? Which is like the thing that you would think a friend would help with. But in big things, or like how you figure out life, you're on your own, man. Like that's your life. They're not going to help you. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to, most of them, like you might get lucky. There's always exceptions, but that's what a spouse is supposed to do, because you're in it together. You're in it together. But see, what women today have done is they've flipped it. Well, I don't even know if they've flipped it. They've just transmuted it into something that it's not. It's, I'm a prize, and you go out and get all this great stuff. Hello. And then when you get that stuff, then you get me. That's what it's been translated into. So this is the world that we live in today. And this is why people have houses. This is why people have, cars and mortgages, and because it's all about the woman, man. It's all about giving her, what she wants, giving her what she desires. The best nest, right? And so they've taken something that is supposed to be beautiful, which is love. They've taken something which is supposed to be helpful, which is companionship. Something which is supposed to be loyalty, which is commitment and monogamy. And they've turned it into hypergamy, which is, hey man, if you don't get your shit together, I'm gonna leave you. Okay? And then they like to use little trick words like, well, he wasn't paying me enough attention, or well, I felt like I wasn't being loved enough, or I felt like I wasn't being cared for enough. Well, I call bullshit on that. I don't think that's what it is. It's, you've got an agenda. And probably the reason you chose a guy who wasn't giving you love and wasn't giving you the right attention you wanted in the first place was because of that agenda. Alpha fucks beta bucks. This is female nature. They want the bad boy. They want the alpha guy. They want the guy with good genes to give them babies. But they also want the beta guy. They want the provider, the steady guy who's a good worker, who can provide the house for them, right? And none of this really is love. None of that is really what a woman should be doing. None of it. No, you don't just chase the guy with the good genes, the gym bro, to get you pregnant. And then after you have a kid with him, you go find the beta guy. That's your plans? I mean, that's manipulative. That's shady. And then they want to say, I love you. There's nothing about love in that. There's no love in that, bro. So what am I going to tell my young friend, At least he's red-pilled, I will say that. At least he's red-pilled. But, when I talk to him, I realize that he's in pain. He's in pain because he knows this. He knows that these women are selfish. And he's scared. He's like, man, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to do. So like, hey, man, I know. I got you. I'm right with you, bro. Like, it's the same. I feel the same way. We're kind of screwed. Something that was supposed to be beautiful has been turned into something that's, really kind of, you don't want to think about it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, not only that, again, they are loose. These girls are loose, right? These girls are promiscuous. And they've been ran through by 100 dudes, right? By the time you get to them. That's nasty to think about it in and of itself. I've talked to other young guys who they don't even want to mess with these young girls because they feel like they're just nasty. They feel like they're just kind of disgusting and gross. And I know these young girls aren't using condoms, right? Because why is Planned Parenthood so popular? They aren't using condoms. They're having 500,000 abortions a year in the United States. That's a fact through Planned Parenthood. You can Google that every year. And the number one reason for an abortion by like 78 to 85% is they're just not ready. What does that mean? It's an unplanned pregnancy. What does that mean? It means they're having loose sex without prophylactics. It means they're out there raw dogging, getting raw dogged. I mean, come on, bro. That's what that means. So on top of the fact that they don't even know that they think they're the prize, they're nasty. They're gross. They, I don't want to stick my dick up in that. It's like toxic, like sticking your dick in toxic waste or something. It's scary, man. Believe me, I'm out here in this dating world. I got temptations. I got girls that I could slide into, and it's like, not only is it hard to do it, not only they play hard to get. I mean, the hypergamy is so high, you gotta act like you're a rock star just to get in bed with them. But when you do get in bed with them, it's kind of frightening. It's scary. Damn, I hope I don't have a disease. Damn, I hope she ain't pregnant. Damn, I hope I don't get a false rape charge. Damn, I hope, this, I hope that. Hope she doesn't have a boyfriend. I've been with girls who had boyfriends, who had, I think they were married. They invited me over to their home. Damn, I hope a mad-ass husband doesn't track me down. I mean, come on, bro. I'm scared too. That's just scary. And on top of that, they think they're the prize. You see how bad it is for young men? So what am I going to tell my friend? What am I going to tell my friend? Shit, man. This sucks. I don't know what to tell you. Women aren't very good. Women aren't very good. So, I will say at least he's red pilled. I will say that. He says, I don't know if I want to get married, man. I don't know if it's worth it. And I'm saying, I know. I'm right with you, bro. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't try to get married. Maybe just stay single. I don't know, but I can't tell him that, because I know he wants love. And it's like, and I want the best for him. I want him to have a nice family. But then people say, oh, not all women are like that. No, only 50% of them are. No, not all women. Okay, well, what are my chances that I'm going to find a good one? 50%? That at least the marriage isn't going to be, end in divorce. Who knows what the statistics are for anything else? She brings an STD into the relationship. She brings a kid from another guy into the relationship. She brings emotional and mental damage into the relationship. All the shit that you got to deal with. It's like, hey man, life is tough as it is. Careers are tough. College is tough, right? Being social is tough, right? Finding quality friends is almost impossible, right? Making enough money to where you're not in poverty is very difficult. Competition for good careers is astronomical, higher than it's ever been. Not only that, now we got to worry about this virus. Now we got to worry about COVID, right? The world could end. And we're out here trying to find love. when the world could end. But on top of all that shit, right? We gotta worry about, we gotta impress a woman and keep her around. And I was reading somewhere that men are committing suicide now more than they ever have in the history of the world, or something like that. The numbers are just astronomical, and usually it happens after a divorce. It's common that men get taken to the cleaners through a divorce. She cheats, she divorces the guy, and then he commits suicide. That's common. That's what I've been reading. So this is for real. We're in a war zone. A psychological war zone, a social, emotional war zone. And guess what? Women don't care. They don't care. They don't give a fuck how we feel. In fact, if we're upset or we're not successful or we're hurting, they like it. Because they've been brainwashed with evil propaganda from feminism that tells them, hey, men are your enemy. You're a strong, independent woman. And, do what we do. We're strong, independent women, and we attack men. The irony is they say red pill and MGTOW men hate women. Well, we just hate the shit that we're going through. We hate all the negative effects that we get, right? But feminism really teaches women to hate men, right? Oh, men are this, men are that. They don't give a fuck. They use it all as justification as to, and for why, why they're doing what they're doing. It's like you can justify immorality. You can justify being a shitty person. You can say it like, well, life dealt me a bad hand of cards, therefore it doesn't matter what I do. I'm just going to go be this or that. Or I'm going to do that. I'm going to go throw my life away. I'm going to go be a bad person. I'm going to go do drugs. I'm going to go rob and steal. I'm going to go, right? Because you're justifying your bad behavior by saying, oh, well, I got dealt a bad hand of cards. And I understand that I've been there, and it's easy to do. Oh man, I feel like shit. Life is really shit on me, and it's easy for me to just go be this shitty person. Well, that's how they leverage that type of evil. That's how they leverage that, right? Well, men are assholes, and men are just rapists. Men are the patriarchy, and they want to oppress us, and so therefore, when we treat them bad, it's all justified. I don't care how men feel. I don't care that they're committing suicide. In fact, they're probably happy about it. They like to brag and say, well, women are graduating college more now. Ooh. Yeah, because society is becoming more gynocentric. Because society is becoming more feminized, and that ain't a good thing. That's not a good thing, man. That's not anything against women. It's just that what's happening to our men. If you have to put somebody down to prop yourself up, or something, that's not the right way to succeed. It's not the right way to win. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good things to say to my friend. I really don't. Say, hey man, yeah, hope you get a good one. Hope you get lucky. Sorry, it's a roll of the dice. It really is. And it's just unfortunate. I really can't encourage him. I really can't just say, oh, just try harder or be more of a man or do this, do that. Like I can't say that to him, because the truth is that he really has the odds stacked against him. Now, again, I will reiterate that at least he's red pilled, because that matters, and that will be better for him. Because I met a lot of guys who are blue pilled, and they think it's all going to work out for them, and then they have a hard awakening at some point. And a lot of these blue pill guys, they're just coping. They just cope. So I'd rather get told the unvarnished truth, right? The inconvenient truth than a convenient lie, right? I'd rather get told the truth and say, hey man, The odds aren't in your favor, unfortunately. And the truth is this. The truth is that women behave like this, and this is what you're up against, and this is what you're going to go through, and you're going to have to deal with it. You have to be a man, and I wouldn't blame you if you don't marry. I wouldn't blame you if you don't get in a relationship. I wouldn't blame you if you figure out how to be content by yourself or go MGTOW. I wouldn't blame you if you leave the system and be independent and be single. I wouldn't blame you. You know, in fact, it might be the safest. That might be the safest way to go. I don't know. But that's all I can say to my friend. I can't tell him. I can't say, oh man, you know, it's going to be great. You're going to have a great life. I mean, they want our money. They want us to take care of them. And if you're lucky, she'll stick around if you provide that scenario for her. And if that's how you're going to do it, then that's how you're going to do it. And, all right, you know, but if not, and unfortunately, my friend happens to be a sweetheart. He wants love. He wants a woman to really be there for him. He wants that closeness, and that he really wants that shared bond and that shared love. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's really there. I don't know if it's going to work out for him in the way he thinks or the way he hopes. And that's tough, because I remember that's what I wanted when I was his age. That's what I wanted in my 20s. And it didn't happen. And I had to learn the hard way. With all these speed bumps along the road, all these bumps along the road, that, hey man, life isn't a movie, man. It's not a fairy tale. It's not going to work out the way that you think it's going to work out, unfortunately. And if it does, good, you got lucky. I hope so. You know, hope it works out for all of us in that way, but it really doesn't look like it's going to. And that's just the reality, man. We're in a war. We're in a psychological, spiritual warfare here. Right? You know, Paul in the Bible said, you know, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but the principalities and the powers in the air. I mean, there's stuff in the air, man. There's stuff that's influencing people to do wrong. These institutions, feminism, right? Marxism, all this stuff that's being introduced to our society that's ruining our young people. That's our fight. We aren't fighting women per se. We're fighting the ideologies that brainwash them. We're fighting all the negative shit that, you know, they're being influenced by. And unfortunately right now, we're just guarding against their behaviors, right? But really what's behind these behaviors, what's you know, motivating these behaviors is these lies from these institutions, Marxism, feminism, and, you know, this immoral atheist ideology, philosophy that do as thou wilt, right? That's what we're fighting against. Oh, there's no such thing as morality. There's no such thing as, you know, morality is subjective, right? That's what we're fighting against, that kind of bullshit. So, again, you know, take the red pill, buckle down. We're in a fight, you know. It's not necessarily a fight for survival per se, but it's a fight to maintain ourselves. It's a fight to maintain anything that's positive about humanity. It's a fight to maintain